And
the ball
cricket
is like, kind of like, it reminds me of like a bocce ball. Like it's not big, I don't think.
Oh, bocce ball. Okay, Italian, calm down.
Oh my God.
I'm playing some bocce with my noni. Like, okay. Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You're here, you made it to us, you love romantic comedies, which is great news because we do as well.
So this is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, dig beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
Today we have The Other
Zoey.
And before diving in, if you want to, chat with us about anything at all, actually the best way you can help the podcast is one, leave a review wherever you're listening, preferably 5 stars, but also throw us a follow on Instagram at Romcom Rewind.
We have a message from Michelle, who listened to our Twilight episode. She said, I love how you started the Twilight pod, because at the time of the movie, I was so excited to see it, and I loved the books. But I tried to rewatch this movie about a year ago and kept thinking, the acting is so bad.
Yeah.
I didn't do a whole movie series rewatch. I couldn't. I wanted to remember them as better than they were.
And like we talked about on that pod, however you feel about Twilight retrospectively, it really has impacted the genre of fantasy,
romance?
Fantasy romance,
yeah,
in such a way that, like, yeah, you look back and you're like, the acting sucks, but there's still what's that acronym for that book that you're reading right now?
ACOTAR.
ACOTAR.
I'm reading Iron Flame, but
A Court of Thorns and Roses?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, that's
so
another series.
I read like maybe 3/4 of that novel.
Yes.
And I was like, this is like 80% of Twilight right here. I feel there's so many, like, they're fairies and she's not a fairy and he's super powerful and there's this weird love dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like better written.
The nuts and bolts are the same.
But sure.
So however you feel about something like Twilight, it really still is like impacting pop culture in that genre. Even today, I don't know how old ACOTAR is. ACOTAR. Whatever. Sure. How old is it?
I think it's 2018.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe, I think. I don't know why I know that off the top of my head.
Big fan.
Yeah. It was really 2015. Sorry, 2015.
There we go. So thank you so much for that message. And if you want to message about anything on the pod that you hear, at Romcom Rewind, that's where to go. The Other Zoey is a 2023 romantic comedy. You can find this on Amazon Prime. It's brand new. Directed by Sarah Zandi. I hope I'm saying that right. This is the story of Zoe Miller, played by Josephine Langford. Zoe is a computer major junior at Queens College. She is extremely intelligent in the field of programming and like coding and stuff. And she's trying to launch her dating app that specializes on matching people based on algorithms and shared interests and compatibility. That's kind of her whole vibe. Like, love isn't real, compatibility is real. That's something tangible, I think, in her mind. Zoe, however, ends up in a classic, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this, but like a classic mistaken identity, amnesia, love triangle with soccer star stud, like how I just glossed over all that. We're going to get to it, don't worry. Soccer star stud Zach McLaren, played by Drew Starkey. Zach believes that he is dating this Zoe because of a strange accident. But instead, there is another Zoe out there on vacation who he actually was dating, and now this Zoe's kind of swooped in and is pretending to date him, if that makes sense. Shout out also to Miles, his cousin, who is our other love interest, played by Archie Renault. That's your lead-in for The Other Zoe. What are your thoughts?
Are you okay?
You just had Zach McLaren's ball in your face.
What's his GPA?
Do you have any books on Battletoads?
You know, video games are now the leading cause of divorce.
Could you actually order me a book on that?
Really?
No.
Sarcasm is frequently an attempt to deflect one's ignorance.
So is being a know-it-all.
Oh, wait! You forgot your credit card! Hey! Oh my God.
What's up? Zach hit a car. Now he's a concussion and he thinks that I'm his girlfriend.
Thank God it's you.
This movie trailer came out and I was really, really excited for it.
Really?
I
Okay.
had really good high hopes for this. I have to say, it was really good.
Okay.
They were met. I don't know if I tricked you there, but I thought it was well done. I mean, it's definitely a streaming service rom-com, but it's not as, I think, like, it's better done, I think, than, Netflix Love at the Inn or whatever that one was called with Christina Milian.
Falling
in love. Yes. Or like, you know what I mean? I think it was just a little bit more than that. The characters were well written. I thought it was fun, easy to watch. It was kind of like holiday-esque. Like they go on a ski trip. So I kind of felt like this was a great movie to do right before we dive into the holiday movies, which we're about to do. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity to do this one. And like I said, it was a good movie.
The first thing I noticed right away is that this could have saved my rom-com fantasy team. This, by the way, is a critical success. 83% on Rotten Tomato, an audience score of 86%. The critics loved this, which doesn't happen often with romantic comedies, and the audience also loved it. It should be said, 12 reviews from critics, so it wasn't like an overly reviewed thing.
It was a streaming service one, right?
But when it was reviewed really well. Yeah, I think you're right. There's definitely, it's a good, solid, easy, fun watch. I'll say there are some holes to poke. Overall, though, if you want, I'm going to tee it up for you. What do you think of when you heard all that stuff? Amnesia, the mistaken identity, nice, easy, romantic comedy. Here's the
French onion soup.
Oh, you're doing a food
No, I don't know.
thing.
I guess
I do the food
I know.
things.
I was guessing you were going to do
French onion soup. No, what I was getting at is
I'm joking.
whatever picture you're creating in your mind for this movie.
Yeah.
That's what it I'm assuming you're hitting 90% of all the balls thrown your way, because this one thing I will say, it hits every rom-com beat.
Oh, every trope.
Do you want me to go through the tropes? I have them listed.
Let's hear it.
Love interest that works at a bookstore. Check. Best friend who has a job, career, aspiration that barely exists outside of rom-coms. Check. The best friend is going to be a poet. Okay. We can dive into that later, but okay. The male love interest who has a meet cute by hitting the female love interest with a ball. Check. There's a classic learning how to scene where she's snowboarding with Miles. Check. There is a hot tub scene with a first kiss. Check.
There's a montage of snowboarding.
We don't have a dress-up montage, but we do have a montage of snowboarding. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, there is a massive party at the end of the movie where the love interests finally express themselves to each other to cap everything off.
In a grand gesture.
Check. We're gonna hit all the highlights here on our. So, I will poke some fun at this film for some of those things, but let's be real. Sometimes you just want to sit down for a nice bowl of French onion soup, like Sarah said. You know what you're going to get. Great. Love it. Toss it in me. That felt weird to say toss it in me, actually. Let's dive in.
So the movie opens with a girl talking about St. Valentine's in what seems to be a history class, and then a blonde girl gets up. We later find out that this is Zoe, and says that it's total crap and that she's built her own app that bases love on compatibility and not love on feelings. What are feelings? She meets up with her friend Elle, and they begin walking across campus, and she gets hit in the head with a soccer ball by a really popular hot guy named Zach McLaren.
Ding!
He comes over and apologizes to her, and she moves on, keep walking, saying, cool, thanks, whatever. Zoe is a massive tech geek, and she goes to a seminar later that night, and there's a guy there that has the exact same thoughts of her, or I guess as her, on the topic of love. He goes away. She doesn't get a chance to talk to him. She runs after him after the seminar. He zips off. So
classic running after the potential love interest as well. I'm gonna ding it for that,
and
for the
missing
rom-com tropes.
the chat, they meet cute.
That's
later.
right. Can I just say one thing very, very quickly? And I don't mean to be reductive or stereotypical right off the top, but in my own life, I know programmers and I know coders. None of them have ever looked like Josephine Langford. No offense. She might be too pretty for the role. And I know that there are pretty coders out there. I totally get it.
Oh my God, you're funny.
But I've yet to meet one that's that pretty. Yeah. She's gorgeous. And yeah, just want to put that
Yeah,
out
you just
there.
had to say that.
Hey,
Yeah.
I just had to say it.
So the next day, Zach McLaren comes into the bookstore that Zoe works at.
You have any books on Battletoads?
Is that medieval history or a metal band?
It's a video game.
No, we don't carry books like that. I could order it for you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Great.
Okay, so 2 choices: The Idiot's Guide to Battletoads or Battletoads for Dummies.
Jesus, they both sound bad, don't they?
Well, a dummy is someone of low intelligence, but it can also mean like a crash test dummy. But an idiot's just an idiot.
Let's go with dummy.
Good choice.
And she has to run after him after he leaves because he left his credit card there. While running, he gets hit by a car on his own bike, reversing. There's a car reversing in the parking lot, and he hits his head and he wakes up thinking that she, as Zoe, is his girlfriend.
My name, Zoe.
You hit me for Zoe. Oh, thank God it's you.
This is somewhat reminiscent of, in my mind, it feels a little bit wedding planner-ish. Like, you know, the it's a garbage
it's a
thing
garbage
coming
truck,
down
kind of,
towards
yes.
It's like a garbage trolley that ends up almost hitting her.
She
and
gets
then
her
she
le-
gets saved by Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, but she doesn't really have amnesia. She kind of just like gets hit and like knocked out. But I have for you, okay, we're going to play a game. You're going to guess. I'm going to describe for you the movie.
Oh, I'm going to
And
be
you're
so
going
good
to
at this.
guess the movie. And this movie, it's rom-coms where the main character, one of them had amnesia.
Oh my God! And you listening, please play along. I guarantee I'm gonna nail this though. Give it to me. We've done like 5 of them on the pod minimum.
All right. So the first one up, we have a woman who is spoiled. She hires a gentleman to make her a shoe rack, and she falls off a boat.
Oh yes, okay,
and
yeah.
into the water, wakes up not knowing who she is, gets the name Annie, and has to work and clean her way for this man in his house with his 4 boys.
Goldie Hawn.
Yes.
Kurt Russell.
Yes. What's the movie?
No idea the name.
You don't
I
remember?
can't remember it.
It's literally in what I said. She falls into
Overboard.
There we
Overboard.
go.
Here we go. Woo.
All right.
So I love how you're giving me the worst description ever. Like, so he made her a shoe rack. Like, is that...
It's kind of the point.
Okay. Worst descriptions for amnesia movies. Almost like you forgot them.
Okay, so this next one. This woman works for a transit authority taking tokens, and she's loved this guy for a really long time, but never has really chatted with him, only to take his tokens. But when he gets pushed onto tracks, the subway tracks, she saves him because some bad guys pushed him in front of them. She waits for him in the hospital.
While you were sleeping? While you were asleep?
Yes.
Yes, nailed
While
it.
you were sleeping.
Sandra Bullock, right?
Yes.
Woo, here we go. Wow, you really stuck on the on the toll booth thing.
Yeah.
I got a toll booth. We're really...
Okay, so this next one is a lawyer, a Manhattan lawyer, so New York. He cares way too much about his career and being successful.
I already feel like it's Matthew McConaughey, and I don't even know.
When he's caught in the middle of a convenience store robbery, he's shot in the head twice.
Oh my God.
And suffers really bad brain damage.
Jesus.
He wakes wakes up from his coma, and he can't remember how to move or speak.
Oh no.
And he also doesn't remember who he is.
What?
And he recovers and learns about his old life, and he realizes that he doesn't like the man that he was, and sets out to prove his family that he has changed.
I have no idea what this is.
It's called Regarding Henry.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
That sounds wild. Oh my God.
Okay, this next one.
I thought we were going to be like Just Like Heaven. And
oh, actually, that's a really good one.
yeah, because she's dead and she's in a coma.
Well, she's
and
dead.
She doesn't
It's not
realize.
amnesia.
Yeah, but her spirit is around, but the spirit doesn't remember what happened to her.
Yeah. Okay, so this next one.
Disregard that. Far too light and fluffy. We want to get down to some store robberies.
Okay, this next one is...
What else do you have?
All right. This young, rich woman, she's literally never worked a day in her life. Kim Kardashian would have something to say about that.
Overboard.
No.
Okay.
And she has an influencer boyfriend. And at some point during the movie, they go skiing together. And he pops the question at the top of a ski drop.
Oh, this is that Lindsay Lohan one. It's the Christmas one.
Yeah.
It's Lindsay Lohan's big return to movies.
Falling for Christmas.
Jeez, Falling for Christmas, of course.
All right, this next one.
Uh-huh.
They're a super happily married couple, but when she gets into a car accident, she's put in a coma. When she wakes up, she has no recollection of who her husband or their life was together.
The husband's Channing Tatum.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of that one either.
Oh my God. Should I keep going? Or?
Rachel McAdams, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
You're yelling at your podcast because you know this one. I can't remember.
The Vow.
The Vow. Is that a Nicholas Sparks? I find Nicholas Sparks always like, you could tell me 20 Nicholas Sparks names for movies, just mix them up, and I would forget which one's which.
Okay, so this is the last one.
Okay.
There's a guy named Henry, and he works at a marine park, and he sleeps with all the women.
Ugh.
And when he's making
50
sculptures,
First
yeah,
Where were you
Out of
going with
waffles.
the sculpture? Yes, that's right. I feel like that should be a 2-pointer. I nailed that before
yeah,
anything.
you did. I didn't even really say anything. All I said was like that he sleeps around.
Yeah,
His name's
he
Henry.
sleeps around. He's not that good looking. You didn't
did
say
pretty
that.
good.
I added that.
You did pretty good.
So this one's up there in the amnesia sweepstakes, I guess.
Yeah. Zoe goes to the hospital with Zach, and Zach's parents come to the hospital. He has a concussion and amnesia, but his parents know about Zoe, and she's like, "Oh," the mom goes, "You're Zoe. He's dating you," and she's like, no, but okay, because the doctor said because he has a concussion and amnesia, you don't want to make she doesn't want to make the memory loss worse. So the doctor says just go along with whatever he wants and don't try to change too many things in his daily life.
And to be clear, so Zach, after the accident, kind of looked at Zoe. She's blonde. Her name's Zoe. Kind of looks a little bit like his actual girlfriend, Zoe. So in his mind, he's like, oh yeah, that's just my girlfriend. Like he is bought into this is my girlfriend. So the family is like, right, Zoe. We've heard of Zoe.
Yeah. And also to say they've only the real Zoe, I guess, that he's actually dating, they've only been dating for a few weeks at this point. So they're really not invested in a long-term relationship by any means. So Zoe's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? She calls her friend Elle, and Elle tells Zoe that Zach is dating a Zoe, but it's another Zoe, captain of the girls' soccer team. You have to play along. You have to go with whatever he wants. So it turns out that the other soccer Zoe is in the Bahamas with her family. So she is not available to even see Zach during this time, doesn't know what happened to Zach, and is freaking out in the Bahamas thinking that he ghosted her. At the McLarens, Zoe has dinner with his family, and Miles turns out to be Zach's cousin and shows up for dinner. He is the other guy that Zoe was crushing on at the seminar. He's in grad school at MIT, and she continues the lie so that she can get closer to Miles. She keeps it vague and makes it through dinner, realizing she has a lot in common with Miles and seems to be very compatible. She eventually gets an invite to their family ski trip that weekend.
At this dinner, I mean, Zoe is trying to blend in as Other Zoey, and people the family has a cursory knowledge of who Zoe is.
And that she's a soccer star.
I have a game for you, Sarah.
Okay.
It's kind of like a game of sports occupation chameleon is what I'm going to call it. Because Zoe, they ask her about soccer, and she needs to kind of blend in. She just throws some random soccer verbs out to just kind of get them off her trail a little bit.
So this is point form.
Point form? What do you mean?
I can just say words.
Well, we're gonna play. This is role playing. We're gonna play out a conversation. So I'm gonna give you a sport. I'm gonna tee you up, and then you try to blend in like you actually know what you're talking about. We're gonna start it out easy.
Okay.
Hey, right. So we're at dinner.
Okay.
Hey. So Zach was just telling us, Sarah, that you're big into flag football, and your team's kind of going somewhere.
For sure, we totally are. I play.
Oh my God.
I can't remember. Quarterback. I play QB. I'm the QB of the team.
That was way too long of a pause, Sarah.
Because I was actually trying to think of the spot that I played when I played flag football, but for some reason right now I'm blanking.
See, and I gave you the one sport. I'm like, she knows this one.
I do.
We'll go easy on the first round. That's a bad start.
Oh God.
Okay, all right, let's restart.
All right.
Hey, so Sarah, Zach was just telling us about your rugby team and how you guys are kind of going somewhere. How's that?
Oh yeah, we play in eights. And the ball can't go backwards. It can only go forwards. And we get a try when we score a touchdown.
Now you sound like somebody who's trying to prove that they actually know what they're talking about.
I'm trying.
Just throwing facts.
Get it? I'm trying for the tries.
Hey, that's actually pretty good. Hey, Sarah, so Zach was telling us you're really big into cricket.
Cricket, yeah. I got my paddles.
Paddles.
Got my paddles ready to go when they whip the ball underhand to me, like a little, and I hit it really far. I know nothing about cricket, and I am so sorry.
I don't even know if they throw it. I think they have like a slingshot thing in their arms.
No.
Do they? No.
They throw it.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah, you might be right. Clearly, I don't know anything
And
about cricket
the ball
either.
is like kind of like it reminds me of like a bocce ball. Like it's not big. I don't think.
Oh, bocce ball. Okay, Italian, calm down.
Oh my
I'm playing some bocce with my noni. Like, okay.
God.
So Sarah, I hear you're big into pickleball. Why don't you talk about it?
We have pickleball courts here where we live, and I have a racket, and I go and book the courts a few times a week. Yeah, like I get my sweat on, you know? I really go hard.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Okay,
Thank
last
you.
one. Sarah, so Zach tells us you're big into, you're kind of like a poker star. You've been in a lot of...
good God, I've never played poker in my life. Okay. Yeah, totally. I wear sunglasses, and I even, I try to make sure I don't have a tell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
yeah, I get full houses and flushes all the time.
All the time?
All the time.
Like higher than statistically normal? Is
Totally. I'm like basically a prodigy. Yeah.
that at getting lucky?
Poker.
Yeah. Poker, yes. Okay. You know what? I'll give that
I'm
one
on
to
that show called Poker Stars.
Hey.
.net.
Okay, that's a website.
I know. I don't know.
You had it until the end. You seen that TV show, right? PokerStars.net? No, that's just because the commercials are everywhere.
I know. Totally. Good marketing.
Great brand awareness, PokerStars.net.
Yeah.
So Zoe navigates that very, very well. Not very well.
I was going to say, she doesn't do it very well. It's a little awkward, and she's too, swooning over Miles.
Yeah, she does get out of the conversation about soccer. So nobody's really the wiser, except for maybe the younger sister Avery is a little suspicious, we find out.
I think she's just I guess she's a little bit suspicious, but I wish they would have followed through with that suspicion then, and she be the one to find out that she wasn't her, because otherwise it's just she's a little bit of an annoying, something, buzzing in their ear like a little mosquito. That's pretty much it. So she gets invited on the ski trip. She goes on the ski trip because Elle convinces her that the doctor said she has to go, when in reality, I think Elle realizes that she has some chemistry with Zach and that they would be good together. She sends her on her way.
And that's I think a double ding for rom-com tropes, because we're going to, of course, a family trip, but not only that, we're going to a little chalet, a cute little quaint little chalet.
So cute.
Obviously.
That is adorable. Do we want to talk about the road games?
Yeah, sure we can.
Okay, so did you have family road games growing up?
We didn't really have road games, but now as an adult, I have road games.
Yeah.
And the
road games, just side note, the road games that they play in this game are stupid.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact specifics, but Zoe and Miles are math prodigies, and it was something like you take the numbers from the signs and you add them up until they end up in a prime number, or something like that was the road game they wanted to play.
Road games, or road trip games, have to be the whole car encompassing. You can't just play two of you.
Certainly. There are the classics. There's back when Beatles were popular, the whole punch buggy thing.
Yes.
PT Cruisers.
PT Losers.
It's rude. Wow. Sarah's got some beef with PT Cruisers.
Oh, God. They don't even make them anymore.
Oh, they haven't made them in years. I'm a big fan now. Slightly inappropriate, but so I discovered something recently.
Oh, my God.
That RVs...
This is ridiculous. Like, this is... Oh, my God. Go ahead.
RVs all have really fascinating branding that if you add the word anal either before or after, it oftentimes ends up hilarious. Like their name's like Intimidator. So it's like anal intimidator. That's funny. Anal campaigner. Like, wow,
this is such a guy like thought that you would think that this is funny. Like this,
literally,
you would think this is funny. It's not that funny.
Literally today, Sarah.
It's
driving you to work.
Not that
what
funny.
did we see? Open road.
I don't remember.
Anal, open road. That's funny.
No, it's
That's
funnier
a funny
the other way.
thing.
If you want to do
open road anal.
Yes.
Fine. I'll give that one to you.
Oh my God. Okay. We used to play I Spy as well, which was like
classic.
So fun.
Classic.
We did that for hours, but we also did this game called like I'm going on a picnic. Would you like to come? And then you have to like say, let's say you as like the person who's bringing the picnic or like the person who started the picnic, you have to pick something that's like a theme and everybody else has to guess according to your rules of theme. So let's say the color was, you had to say something that was orange. So I'd say, I'm going on a picnic. I'm going to bring an orange. And then I say, Devin, would you like to come on the picnic? And you said, yes. And you said, I'd like to bring a banana. Well, you can't come because you're bringing a banana and bananas aren't orange. But let's say you said something else that was orange, then you'd be able to come too. Does that make sense?
A pumpkin? What if I...
Yeah.
Okay.
Devin, would you like to come on the picnic?
Yes.
Okay, what would you like to bring?
A pumpkin.
Yes, you can come to the picnic.
This is a stupid game.
It's a great
think the
game.
RV thing is way better.
Oh my
Just saying.
God.
I mean, maybe not for kids, but...
Yeah, no, absolutely not for kids.
It's also just funny that they give RVs the stupidest name, gladiator, and you're like, "This is why are you calling it a gladiator?"
It is true. It is true. I mean, sometimes I think they give cars a stupid name too.
No, certainly, yes, yeah.
So they get to the hill. They go snowboarding. We find out Zoe can barely snowboard, and Miles tries to help her. We get a montage of falling down the hill multiple times. I love that.
Classic.
Elle hooks up with a delivery guy back on campus, and while back at the ski hill, Zoe tries to get Miles to go into the hot tub with her, which at first, Avery, Zach's sister, is the only one that goes in, and she threatens Zoe in the hot tub. It's hilarious that if she hurts Zach, she'll never be able to kick a ball again. And then Miles comes out and tells Avery that they're s'mores, and she gets out, leaving only Zoe and him in the hot tub. In the hot tub, Miles awkwardly tells Zoe that he likes spending time with her, that she's funny, wicked smart, and goes on to ask if Zoe thinks that her and Zach are a good match. Because Miles, he repeats it, thinks that he and her are very compatible. They kiss in the hot tub, and Zoe is like over the moon, so excited that she kissed Miles, and her dreams of pure perfection compatibility are coming true. The next morning, she comes down and Zach's mom gives her a cup of coffee and she asks where everybody is. And it turns out that Miles has a girlfriend named Emily. Miles and his girlfriend are Polly and tells her that it was just a kiss and she's dating his cousin. So why would that matter? Zoe decides to stay back with Zach. They have a game day, and while playing, and this kind of ends at this point, the whole Miles and Zoe thing, the whole love triangle does not last.
No.
There's no ultimate choice. There's no like determining factors. It has just fizzled out.
It's literally like 45 minutes of
Not even.
the one. I think I paused it around that. It's like 45 minutes of, well, like intro to the movie, Miles, and then we cut it, and it's like, okay, and now the rest of the, I think it was literally like another 45 minutes of, and now it's Zach.
Yeah, so Zoe and Zach have a games day together, and while playing, Zoe asks Zach what he thinks is important in a relationship, and she says, you know, I thought it was compatibility, but he thinks that you just have to like the person. You just have to like spending time with them. Cue the montage of game playing. They even make cute homemade pizzas together. So
Adorable.
cute.
And we do get a little glimpse of, like, Zoe clearly has her life figured out. Zach is a soccer star, but he's up front of like, I'm not going to make it to the pros, so I'm kind of like lost a little bit. And then we see his vision of like, he is, however, a very good cook, so maybe that is hinting towards an alternate future for him.
Yeah, and as the day goes on, they seem to have more and more in common, and they really get to know each other. He does start to remember little pieces here and there. He remembers random things like how he ordered his sister a video game book. When the family gets back later on in the day from the slopes, Avery realizes that she forgot her mitts on the slopes. Zach and Zoe take her back to go get them, and while waiting, Zoe throws a snowball at the concussed Zach, because that's a good idea.
Whoa! You got a pretty good arm for a computer nerd.
Hey, nerds rule the world.
They do?
Yeah. You're not gonna throw that at my head, are you?
Huh?
Because I can't throw it at your head, concussion boy.
Nobody said it had to be like a fair fighter. Oh, gosh!
And then they proceed to have a cute little snowball fight. He throws a snowball and hits her in the head, and he kisses her, then tells her that that might leave a mark, which is exactly what he said to her at school on campus when he hit her in the head with a soccer ball at the beginning of the movie. Later on, Zoe tells Elle that she actually likes Zach, and when he kissed her, it felt right. She tells Elle that she feels that she needs to tell Zach the truth and come clean. Later on that night, they're hanging out on the couch, and Zach says he's going to go to bed, and she thanks him for the wonderful day and that he really surprised her. They kiss again, and he says, well, you really surprised me too, Zoe Wallace, which is not that Zoe's name, which, of course, is the other Zoe. And he says, I hope you remember this day when we go back to school. She says, I hope you remember this day when we go back to school and when you get your memory back. They get home from their ski trip, and Zach grabs Zoe's suitcase and sees that the tag on Zoe's suitcase says Zoe Miller. And he says, who's Zoe Miller? And just as she's about to try to say something and come clean about being Zoe Wallace for the weekend, the true Zoe Wallace comes up and says, you are in so much trouble. How did you ghost me? You totally didn't, message me back and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I am Zoe Wallace. I'm Zach's girlfriend. And they all say, no, that's Zach's girlfriend. Everyone is very, very confused. Nobody's mad, but everybody's very confused. At that moment, Zach's memory comes back and he remembers everything.
And you hit your head, and when you woke up, you thought that I was your girlfriend because we have the same name, and I guess we kind of look alike.
You wish.
I knew something was up.
Then at the hospital, everyone just thought that I was the other Zoe, and I was gonna tell you the truth, but the doctor said that you had a concussion and you couldn't handle any stress, so I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to make it worse.
And then Miles.
And then for Miles, and then she realized that she does have feelings for Zach, but it's all a lot. And it's all like, to be fair, the family had the appropriate reaction of like, ooh.
But I'm happy they were more like, ooh, and not like mad.
Right.
Like, I liked that because it's so typical in movies for the person to be like overly angry and like whatever and storm off and make a big deal. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it's just like, this is awkward and weird, and maybe you're weird too. I think that's the thing. I would just, if I was the dad, I'd be like, she's crazy, son. We gotta get out of here.
She does apologize, then she leaves, and Zach is just like still very, very, very confused because I think in that weekend he actually started, like, he had feelings for this person who we thought he was actually dating. He got to know this person on a level that maybe he didn't quite get to know with the Zoe Wallace that he was dating.
Totally.
Zoe gets home, yells at her roommate, blames her for everything that's happened for her heartbreak, and then calls her poems stupid. So Elle is a poet major. She's a creative writing major, and she would like to specialize in poems and poets. Yes.
That happens. That's lucrative.
Oh,
that's lucrative
God.
stuff.
It's definitely not. But that's okay. So Zoe gets to school and everyone's talking about her. And when she leaves class, Zach is with the real Zoe Wallace walking. She ends up staying in bed for days, doesn't want to go to class, doesn't want to go to school. She decides to fly home and see her mom. And she tells her mom everything. And she tells her that she has to tell Zach that she likes him and how she really feels.
Hell yeah.
Zoe goes back to school and she tries to make things better with her roommate, Elle, by writing her a poem, which like is a little grand gesture. I liked this. I really liked this. I thought it was really cute. And I mean, Elle said that it wasn't a good poem, but I thought it was a really good poem. It's better than anything I can ever write. On campus, two girls come up to her after class and ask her to build a Jam Fest website, an interactive website for a dance fest thing that they're throwing. Becca tells Zoe, one of the girls, a story about how she made up that Ryan Reynolds asked her to prom and that he was her prom date. And when the truth came out, it really sucked. So she's trying to help Zoe get back on track with like who she was and not somebody who, you know, is just going to be talked about for the rest of the year. And to be remembered for something other than being a liar. Zoe decides, like she agrees, she builds this website for them, but she decides she doesn't want to go to Jam Fest. But when Elle comes home to show her that Zoe Wallace is making out with somebody else and that they've broken up, she gets there, does a grand gesture. She goes on the stage, grabs the mic and asks if Zach is there. Then someone live streams her and he says, yep, I'm over here. The movie ends with them talking and she tells him, you know,
I always thought that relationships should be based on, like, data. Like, there was a science to it. But now I realize that it's not about some algorithm. Sometimes it's just a feeling. It's like what you said that day, that liking someone is way more important. I really like you, Zach.
He says, why do you think Zoe Wallace and I aren't together? Because I want to be with you, which is so sweet. And
then why is he just chilling at the party, though? I feel like there should have been some explanation. I feel like he should have said, like, I've been waiting here. Like,
oh, that would have been cute, too. But I did think the line about how, like, I don't know. I thought it was sweet. Anyway, they end up kissing.
And
it, like, pans out to, like, the whole party and everybody dancing at Jam Fest. And, the end of the movie.
Before we dive into anything else, though, I think we do need to talk about something fascinating about this movie, and that our main interest, Zoe, Josephine Langford, is extremely successful at an American accent. She is, by the way, Australian.
Oh, cool.
Same with our boy Miles, played by Archie Renault. Miles McLaren. He is British.
I knew that because he was in Shadow and Bone on Netflix.
And not because everybody.
He doesn't have an accent.
He's in Shadow and Bone.
He doesn't have an accent in that either. But he kind of does. But
I know you were wondering about Shadow and Bone. You've been waiting this whole time. We're 35 minutes into the pod. Here we go with the Shadow and Bone. Okay, actors and celebrities who people are surprised when they hear their actual voices. They're like, oh my god, like Batman sounds like this.
That I'm going to get to set and the director's going to go, I don't even like this scene, make it up, and I've got to be ready for that.
Christian
and if
Bale.
I'm not ready for that, I feel very insecure arriving on the set.
He
Those
is
are my favorite
Welsh
Batmans.
and British. Really?
Cool. Oh yeah, those are my favorite Batmans. Oh yeah, those are the best Batmans.
Sarah, your boy Robert Pattinson, though.
No, sorry.
Wow.
I like Robert, but no, Christian Bale is like the like essence of Batman, and those movies were like pure perfection.
Yes,
Thank you.
you can just. Do you smell that?
Yeah, it's Batman Christian Bale.
That's Batman Christian Bale
with Tom Hardy as Bane. Boom. Talk about like Swoon Central.
Swoon Central. On the topic of
his accent makes him way hotter.
Oh, really? You find him more attractive because of the accent? Okay.
I didn't realize definitely.
This guy was Swoon Central, and maybe you'll find him more attractive because of it. Jamie Dornan, famous for 50 Shades movies.
I never watched those movies. But
okay. Well, you know what his face looks like. Normally that face has an American accent, but actually he's from Northern Ireland. He sounds like this.
I mean, yeah. No, but we just, because I am married and, she's had
he's married.
Quite a lot of relationships in the time that we've known each other, and so that's happening in our own lives, and you just have this sort of mutual love and respect for each other. And
I feel like in the 50 Shades movies, he's just very
suave. But yeah, no, that does make him hotter. Yep.
Okay. Maybe this will make Riverdale actor KJ Apa hotter. He's from New Zealand.
Here we go. Why does KJ Apa not have an accent in Riverdale?
Oh, it's almost like perfect.
Because KJ Apa is an actor. And he has to do an American accent.
It's actually really
on screen.
You just did a good job.
Are KJ Apa and Cole Sprouse friends?
I mean that's a pretty good.
Yeah.
He nailed it right there. Who else do we have? Oh, Catherine Zeta-Jones. I feel like nobody realizes that she is. Do you know where she's from?
Oh my God. You know what? It's on the tip of my tongue. You're going to say it and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, no, I know that.
I had
Oh my
no
God.
idea.
Wait, hold on. I can't think of it. Go ahead.
Apparently she's Welsh.
Oh, cool.
She's from Wales.
We didn't, but it was a real treat. You know, like, I mean, a bit like the show I'm National Treasure. It's like an iconic show and characters like Festa Morticia that are really...
Sarah literally just mouthed to me, really? Yeah, dude, that's Catherine Zeta-Jones. That's what she normally sounds like.
Well, like I've heard her, but I've heard her like real accent and I've watched interviews of her. I just didn't realize that she's Welsh.
Sarah is now fact-checking me on the facts that I'm bringing to the pod.
Yeah, she's from Swansea, which I don't know if that's how you say it, but Swansea, UK. Cool. The more you know.
I just want to know how disrespectful that is. That I brought this content to the table of the podcast and I played literally a clip of her speaking in a Welsh accent and Sarah's like, nah, I'm gonna fact check this shit.
You know what? Sometimes
we cannot trust this man over here.
Sometimes we get shit wrong. And sorry about that. But I just had to fact check you. And you're sitting right here.
During the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. You listening, I don't know if this has ever happened to you.
It literally even said Welsh actress. So you're correct, Devin.
I don't know if you've ever been in a work meeting and you're saying something and somebody just whips out their laptop. You're like, I'm going to fact check you on that. And you're like, oh, well, I'm going to keep talking while you make sure I'm not an idiot because apparently...
So funny.
The other one's notable. I have Henry Cavill, British.
Yes.
Margot Robbie, Aussie.
Oh yeah.
Even when she did Barbie, I'm like, wow, you're Australian. That's wild.
The best.
Also, on this list that I was looking up, to gain inspiration, Josephine's own sister, Catherine Langford, made the list. She's in Netflix's 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Pulling off an American accent as
Yeah.
an Aussie, which people thought was notable.
Mm.
Same with Josephine here. Anyway, let's dive in. Now it's time. The Rom-Com Rewind presents, it's the Battle of Rom-Competence. We have Jackie on the show today. Hello, Jackie.
Hi.
Tell us about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? Whatever you feel comfortable sharing with the RCR fam.
I'm from Florida. I've lived in Florida pretty much my whole life. I have lived in different areas, but I live in Central Florida right now. My family, I guess, is from Cuba. So I'm first generation, so I was born here. But my family was born from Cuba. I will say I'm an instructional designer, which not a lot of people know what that is. That's always kind of my fun fact.
Yeah, what is that? Can you tell me?
Yeah, it's basically, so I design online training. So a lot of people don't know, like, there are different versions of it. I do specifically e-learning, but a lot of people do, like, you can do it for like regular schools and colleges, especially universities. Some people usually design that course and then give it to a teacher, especially if you do like online stuff, like using like Blackboard or Cane or something like that. Currently, I do it at a group of hospitals in Central Florida.
That's amazing.
So I do a lot of nurse training currently.
Cool.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, I do have a question, and we are Canadian, but we have been to Florida, and you probably can explain this better. But like, I was under the impression like, oh, Florida, it's a state down there. But if you talk to somebody from northern Florida and you're like, oh, I'm in southern Florida, they're like, that's a different place. Like it's totally different vibes is the impression I get. Is that correct?
Yes, completely. As somebody who's lived in many different places in Florida, that is very true. So I used to live in southern Florida. And the way that we used to say it was like the more north you go in Florida, the more south you're going in the United States.
Oh my god!
Different vibe.
That makes so much sense.
So it's completely different vibe.
Shall we dive in? The deal with this game is that we've realized resoundingly what you listening and you, Jackie, tend to love about our podcast are the quick facts. And perhaps the best thing we could give you is an opportunity to be on the show and test your love for romantic comedies with ours, or more importantly, with mine. So I'm going to leave the studio. I'm going to walk away, and Sarah's going to ask you 3 romantic comedy trivia questions. Answer those questions to the best of your ability. Then I'll come back into the studio. I'll be tested on the same questions as you, and we will discover ultimately if you're more rom-com than your friend Devin. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, sounds fun.
Amazing. All right, I'm taking off my headphones, and I'm walking away.
Yes, he's He's leaving the room. Bye, Devin. See you later. All right, Jackie, you have 10 seconds on the board. I'm going to go through 3 questions with you. And the second question will be a multiple choice question. All right, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. All right, question number 1. Name the charming rom-com that featured the now famous phrase, "as you wish."
Oh, The Princess Bride.
You got it. Good job. All right, question number 2, and this is multiple choice. Most of us know Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks and their rom-com fame from movies like Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. Name a third movie that they starred in together. Was it A, Splash, B, Kate and Leopold, C, Forrest Gump, or D, Joe versus the Volcano?
Oh, shoot. Or no, is it D?
Yes, you're correct. Oh my gosh, you're 2 for 2.
Awesome.
All right. Question number 3. Name the 2 actors in the movie Notting Hill.
Julia Roberts and
5 seconds.
Hugh Dancy. I know that's not his name.
You are so close. I'm not going to accept that. But you know what? I'm going to give you 0.5 for that. I'm going to give you 0.5.
Okay.
All right, Devin, come
I know,
on back.
like, I picture him.
She got 2.5. How did she get a 0.5? You will see.
I need to ask about the 0.5. That's very close to being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
She was very
of rom
close.
competence.
Very good showing. Very good showing.
2.5. I'm so curious how I'm supposed to beat a 2.5.
Well, you'll have to get perfect.
All right. Well, let's dive right in.
All right. So the second question, just to let you know, Devin, will be a multiple choice question.
Love it.
All right.
Wait. Which ones did she get? Well, I guess
she got 1, 2, and
0.5.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Now I'm nervous.
Well, we'll see how you do. Question number 1, 10 seconds on the board. Name the charming rom-com that featured the now famous phrase, "as you wish."
The Princess Bride.
Correct. Question number 2.
What a classic. Can we just... Oh, man. Okay, yeah, keep going.
Question number 2. Most of us know Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks and their rom-com fame from movies like Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. Name a third movie that they starred in together. Was it A, Splash, B, Kate and Leopold, C, Forrest Gump, or D, Joe versus the Volcano?
What was B again?
Kate and Leopold.
Give me Kate and Leopold.
You are incorrect.
No!
It was Joe versus the Volcano.
No! Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. We know how this is going to end, but please at least let me redeem myself.
All right. Question number 3. Name the 2 actors in the movie Notting Hill.
Julia Roberts, Hugh Grant.
Yes.
Oh, and that's how... So you beat me by a 0.5.
Yes, you did.
I mean, I'd like to discuss this with the judges, perhaps, but you know what? I will concede defeat. Jackie, you are officially more rom-com than Devin. Congratulations.
Ooh, thank you. I'm glad to hold the title.
You know, you're only one of 2 people who have won this game so far, so that's rare company you're in.
That is.
Thank you. I feel very proud. I'm very disappointed I couldn't remember Hugh Grant's last name, but...
You were so close. You were so... I thought you had it, and you were so close. You were right there.
Let's move on to quick facts.
This movie was filmed in Wilmington, North Carolina. This movie has a similar storyline to While You Were Sleeping. Even though everyone in the movie has social media accounts, no one ever notices that the Zoey featured on Zach's feed is not the Zoey that he is with.
I thought about that immediately. Like, you can look that stuff up.
I know.
That we got social media.
Despite being told that Zach needs to not be confused by the doctors, Avery, his little sister, constantly lies to him to mess with his memory. The movie Elle is watching in this movie is Notting Hill, a sequel to the film 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which starred Andie MacDowell, who plays Zach's mother in this film.
I noticed that right away. Honorable mentions. You know, you kind of mentioned her, Andie MacDowell. I feel like it is fascinating that you have such an iconic actress to be the matriarch of this family in a movie where I'm looking at this like maybe you're teeing up a lot of future stars. That's my honorable mention.
Oh.
The hopeful, futures of all of these really bright talents. Like you talk about Archie being on, Skull and Bone?
Shadow and Bone.
But sure, whatever.
Well, yeah, Shadow and Bone was canceled by Netflix, so whatever.
Maybe it'll get picked up again.
Maybe.
But I mean, he clearly, probably has something going for him. Drew Starkey has been on a few things, but hasn't really had his big, massive break. He was on Outer Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix
he is still,
teen drama
I think,
series.
Yeah.
Josephine Langford, obviously her sister is having a lot of success. They're all kind of just starting to do things. Like, it's not like they're nobodies. They are definitely somebodies. But I think none of them have really oh my God, Noah Centineo.
Yeah. Zoe King.
Lana Condor.
Or not Zoe. Joey.
Joey King, yeah. Lana Condor.
Yeah.
All of those kind of I think all of these people are 2 or 3 years removed from that moment, which I think is really, really cool. Do you have an honorable mention?
I think I could honorably mention that I was invested in their relationship, and a lot of new rom-coms that are coming out, they're just not great. But I was really happy with this one, and I just want to honorably mention Prime keeps coming out with some good movies.
Prime's got some good stuff.
They're putting together some good rom-coms, and I'm excited to see what they come up with. I really enjoyed this movie.
They're taking some swings. Also, a quick honorable mention. We haven't even mentioned her to begin with. The mom, Heather Graham, is...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's Zoe's mom. Just want to throw that name into the mix. What should have been? So I've really got 2 what should have beens. I mentioned one while we were going through it. I just thought the ending moment, the grand romantic gesture on Zach's part could have been a little better. She kind of, let her heart out to him, I like you. I just wanted to let you know. And he's like, why do you think me and Zoe aren't together anymore? You could have written him some better dialogue.
And I think for me, it's going to be that Miles either should have been in the movie or should they have even had him?
That's my second part of the what should have been, is that we kind of split this movie down the middle with 2 love interests. And I get why you did it. Everybody loves a love triangle. This one's really a love square and a half. But I don't really think you needed it because there was always that other Zoe. So I feel like I already had some kind of tension in the background. Mm-hmm. You kind of added some extra tension that was really a little bit meaningless, it turns out.
Yeah, completely.
It was very superficial, which is ironic because those two believe in compatibility so much. I agree. I thought Archie was a great addition to the movie, but his character was a little... you could have removed him and not much would have changed.
Yeah. I think that's exactly my thoughts. I think... There wasn't, they dove into his character and then all of a sudden they just stopped and he was just in the background.
And he's in a poly relationship. Oh, get the pitchforks out. Goodbye.
I'm just kind of okay, compatibility. And I know that it was there to show that love is not based on solely compatibility like the 2 of them thought. So I understand why they did it that way, but yeah.
But I would argue you still accomplished that with her and Zach having those little intimate moments, right?
That's a good point.
You kind of...
Yeah.
You're right. They kind of slap the audience over the head with it when really it's but you're already doing the whole compatibility story with when Zach was with Zoe anyway. And now overall rewatchability.
Okay, my rewatchability is Chemistry 4.7, Storyline 4, Thirst Factor 4.7, Imagination 3, Soundtrack 3.4, Cheese 3.4 for an overall score of 3.8 out of 5.
Wow. Okay, we have very different scores for this movie.
Oh, okay.
Also, I want to shout out the fact that this title, The Other Zoey, it's fine. I could not remember it for the life of me. Full transparency. Sarah can attest to this. I was calling this movie Finding Moira for a week before we did it. I don't know why. I feel like Zoe and Moira, they have a similar
universe
register for me.
Really?
Yeah, just I feel like zany-ish. Not super zany names, but just I feel like Moira Rose. I don't know, Finding Moira. Anyway.
The story about Moira Rose.
Yeah, the story of finding Moira Rose. Hey, somebody should do that. Just throwing it out there. They've been talking about doing some kind of a reboot of Schitt's Creek. That's a Schitt's Creek reference, by the way. I've got Chemistry 3.7, Chemistry was great. Storyline, 3.5. Thirst factor, 3.85. A lot of pretty people in this movie.
Yeah.
The rest are where we drop down a little bit.
Okay.
Imagination, 2.2.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's basically While You Were Sleeping mixed with
a few others.
so many others. We talked about them, the Amnesia movies, put it in the Amnesia movie category. Soundtrack, 2.5. It was fine. I don't think there was anything specific that jumps out to me. And she's a 2.5 for an overall score of 3.04 out of 5. Which, like I said, critically, Rotten Tomatoes, lots of success. Audience score, I think I said 86, something like that. So don't let that 3.04 deter you. There are a lot of 3.8s like Sarah out there. That seems to be the common denominator for The Other Zoey.
And not Finding Moira.
Not Finding Moira. We should make it though, guys. Call me up. I can do it.
Thanks for listening.